Hello, lovelies. Come on in. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and it's Saturday, which means it's Soulful Saturday, one of my favorite days. Who is here? I do not want to watch myself on a big screen. Hello, Denise and Sarah. Good to see you. Hello, ladies. So glad you could join me today. And Carla's here from Louisville, Kentucky. Beautiful Louisville. And so is Susan. Yay. Hi, Carlos. There's Jenny. And Martha. And Gwen. I love watching everybody come in. Hi, Jeanette. And Carol Ann. Hello, hello. Hello, Diane. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, we have a gorgeous day happening here, and we're supposed to get up into the 70s. So I'm just happy about that. Hi, Lucy. Lucy's having a good day. Yay for Lucy. Lucy, of course, made my beautiful mosaic stained glass. Hi, Laura. Hi, Mary. And Carl, oh, it's supposed to be Derby Day. Of course it is. I knew something was weird and off. I was thinking, what's today supposed to be? Hi, Linda. And Cheryl. Cheryl's in the house too. Come on in. So today on Soulful Saturdays, we always change everything around, don't we? Just a little bit. We're still talking about stuff that makes a difference in our lives, things that help to move the needle with whatever we're trying to do. Usually, I always say this, that a lot of times people come and they want to, work on their weight or whatever. But I always say, we got to work on our health first. When we work on our health, the weight comes naturally. That's why we hate the diet culture. The diet culture is all about just one thing, and we are all about everything. Because if it's heart, mind, and soul, you know that is the needle mover. It is. That's just how it works. And today I am going to be doing our cooking lessons, of course. Have you guys, are you excited for cooking lessons today? You should be, because I'm going to show you how to spatchcock a chicken. I'm doing it, guys. I am doing it. I'm going in there. I'm going to spatchcock a chicken and bada bing, bada bang, get that thing going. I'm going to cook that in a couple of days. It is going to be for the sprint, though, because the sprint is coming on Monday. Yay! Go to savingdinner.com if you want to find out about it. It's a free program. 7 days. 7 days. And as a matter of fact, this is an interesting topic that we have right now today. Because really, this whole topic is just sort of like, kind of questions that I've been asking myself. And questions that I've actually had, I've gotten a few Facebook messages from a few folks and just a few clients too, coaching clients who have, spoken to me about some things that it just made me think, to myself, how you do that? You think, So we'll talk about it. In the meantime, I just wanted to let you know that our supplements are flying out the door, especially the Proactive Probiotic, because it's free shipping. If you put Proactive Probiotic in your cart, you will get free shipping. Just put ships free in the subject line. That's how it works. But also, I'll tell you what, you want to know what the big thing is right now? The big thing right now is cha-cha-cha. It's the Body Clutter, the new Body Clutter Wise Women supplements. We've got the vitamin D and B complex. We've got CalMag and CoQ10. I know, I saw yours. I saw a bunch of people ordering them. And do it, because I'll tell you what, I think we're going to have to place another order starting on Monday. I ordered a ton, but they are flying out the door. We got a great deal on them, especially if you buy the core 4. We'll call them the core 4. Of course, you can buy them individually, but buy all 4 at one time. Throw the Proactive Probiotic into your cart. You'll get free shipping. You'll get a 10% off deal on all 4 of these supplements. And by the way, I'd be remiss to not tell you, we also have the Body Clutter Wise Women's Tea. which we love. It's so fabulous. And that's getting low too. Although we probably have another order going in starting on Monday. But it takes 45 days to get it, you guys. And we will have decaf tea coming. Everybody asked me about that. This next order will have decaf and regular tea. We just, tested it to see if everybody would love it. Guess what? You love it. It's the best tea. It really is the best tea. It is so fresh and has such a great flavor. But you can get just everything that I showed you would be a wise thing to get. And that probiotic is going to get you the free shipping as long as you live here in the United States. So, and if you get over $200, I'll send you a mindful mug. And the mindful mugs help us to get centered before we eat again, and I say that kind of in a funny way, but if you've ever been in the position, I've got a hair in my eye. Don't you hate that? Come on, get out of my face. Have you ever been in the position where you just feel like you're just going to devour everything in sight, and it's not so much that you're hungry. It's just that that's your habit. The mindful mug gets you out of that because it puts you into a place of being mindful about your meal with what's on your plate, your portion sizes, how you're going to eat, all of that. It brings us into that place. Karen, the tea has, if you like Earl Grey tea, you will love this. This is like Earl Grey on steroids. You've never had such a fresh tea before. Well, maybe you have. I haven't. But this tea is fabulous. And it was freshly, it's custom tea blend for us. It's black and green tea because they both have separate health benefits. And it has oil of bergamot in there, an essential oil. And bergamot has its own health. It's from a citrus plant. And it has just a lovely fragrant aroma. It's just a lovely, lovely tea. And it makes a nice brown color. And Marla likes it super strong. She puts in 3 bags at a time. I can't handle that. But I can handle 1 bag steeped for about 3 minutes in a great big cup. And I enjoy it every single afternoon. Whether I make Marla's tea time or not, it's just not tea time without it. It smells illegal. Yes. Isn't it lovely though, Carla? It's just such a wonderful tea. And we do have some. So does Marla. We have limited quantities though. Everything is in its limited place. And I'm telling you this simply because our supplements are super flying off the shelves right now, like shockingly. And I don't want you to miss out. So grab them. And you know how to get the free shipping. Ships free in the promo window. And there you go. And you have to have Proactive Probiotic for it. And don't forget, you get 10% off those Wise Women supplement. Yay. You do 4 bags, Laura? 4 bags in 1 cup of tea? Wow. That's pretty intense. Oh, and by the way, you guys, I tried to flip my camera so that, when I show you the quote of the week and what have you, it would be good. And it all turned green. I don't know what the deal is. I'm just telling you, Facebook is being a little bit off and weird. But, what else is new? So our quote of the week is this. You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Love that. That's Buckminster Fuller. And if you know anything about his life, he was a futurist, an architect, a dreamer, had amazing imagination. Geodesic dome, he's the inventor of that. Fascinating man, and he lived to be, in his late 80s. And he did all kinds of, very philanthropic as well. And he understood the need to build new models. That's what I'm trying to do here with us. That is exactly what I'm trying to do with us. That's why I'm talking about the sprint so much, because it is a new model. It's just, let's clear the decks out. Let's create a new change. Let's do things that are going to help us and make us feel good. And I'm going to just confess right now, I have gained 5 pounds in this whole pandemic because I baked. I ate a bunch of carbs that I wouldn't normally eat. I comfort ate, and I know I'm not the only one. We do default to these things, these old things that we do. And, that's not a condemnation. That's just kind of what we do. I saw somebody go, whoa. Yeah, so that sprint, I'm all over that sprint on Monday. And what I'm talking about today has everything to do with the sprint. And especially, I'm looking at like Joanne and Amy and all of you who I've known and I've seen for so long, because you're a part of my community and you've done the sprint so many times. I thought about this today, and I was thinking about, this email that I received from a friend of mine who was talking about how miserable she was. And so I wanted to really address that, because misery is a really interesting thing and what that's attached to. That's number one. And Lisa, you're so right. It is so easy to fall back into our old habits. And you heard what I had to say about this whole thing. It's like, while we could come in a perfect world, in a perfect world, we would come into this whole pandemic thing and say, oh, what a perfect time to transform and to, lose the weight and get your health in order and do this and do that. And then we had a shortage of toilet paper, and now there's maybe a meat shortage, and then you couldn't find this in the supermarket. And then you're stuck in your house and you haven't left since early March. That's me. And the piling on of this idea of transformation suddenly became one that for me, I not only rebelled against it, I was having the idea like this, wouldn't this be a great idea? Not only was I rebelling against it, but I felt like it was unnecessarily too much pressure to perform. And, isn't that just, have you seen it when parents do this to their kids, like show Uncle Morty how you can do a cartwheel or, something thing, and how awful it is and how you hate that when you're a kid, how you hated having to perform for these unknown relatives or friends or whatever. And my parents didn't make me do this, but we had a neighbor who used to make us come over to their house and speak Canadian to them. Because when we moved here, I was 7, and then my brother and sister were, a couple of years younger. And they just thought we were so cute with our little clipped Canadian accents. And I remember thinking how awful it made me feel and how terrible. That is the epitome of, piling on. Don't do that. Why do we want to do that? And my whole thing is, while transformation is a cool idea, it's also an attempt to pile on when here we are in the middle of this epidemic, in the middle of this pandemic, where we're watching the news and we're seeing all the bad news and we're hearing about this, that, and the other thing, and this, that, and the other thing. And you know what? Why would I say to do something that I'm not going to do myself because I am feeling like, hey, this is new stuff to have to deal with, and now I'm going to put further pressure on me for this? Heck no. As a matter of fact, I, for the first time, owned flour, like regular wheat flour, for the first time, and I made, attempt at baking. Nah, didn't do real well with that. And I don't need it, right? Sarah's right. She said it's too much negativity. It is too much negativity. There's so much going on out there. And while even though we're, limiting what we're saying and limiting this and limiting that, and supposedly we're coming out of our hibernation like bears, pretty much, I still think we need to be a whole lot more gentler with ourselves and a lot more kind, a lot more just allowing, So Mary said it. She said, I've been snacking and I know better. We've all been doing things that we know better about, which all just brings me to the point of our humanness, our humanity, our places of brokenness, the places that we're all trying to mend and trying to fix, the places where we're trying to do better. Well, I have news for you right now. This is the first time any of us have had to deal with a pandemic. This is the first time any of us have had to been, unless we were an essential worker or whatever, have been cooped up in our houses thinking about all kinds of things and maybe starting new habits or having a lot of work to do or whatever. This is the first time. So we get a pass, you guys. We all get a pass. But we also have a realization time, our little like, whoa, okay, so mine was on the scale this morning of like, hey, that's just not working for me. And I don't feel like my normal self. So what do we do? I can sit here and we can beat ourselves up, or we can shift and say, you know what? I am going to give myself a break, and I'm also going to jump into a little bit of a program and just do a little bit of something. And that's a little bit of something is better than nothing, right? That's what we're sprinting for on Monday. And it's right at savingdinner.com. You can find it right there as soon as you jump in, and it's free. And we have a community, and we have all the things that are necessary to put into place so that one, we understand it, and two, we have the community to do it with, and three, we don't feel alone. I'm tired of being all by myself here. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to be talking to Marla later. She and I have both, we just live really, really close, but we have both adhered to the guidelines. Both of us have not left the house. And the other day we went over there and I stayed, we had social distance, and I had something for her, she had something for me, and we did all of that. But it just felt really odd and weird. And considering how we have held our ground, and same with Mark and Robert, I'm just going to suggest that we go ahead and start getting back together on our regular night of having dinner together. I think it's time. I think it's time. Obviously, stay focused on what we're supposed to do, but also look at how we need to go, how we need to be together, and how we need that part for a healthier existence as well. That is really critical, you guys. September 26th is full bloom. Get your reservations and just get here. Go to savingdinner.com/bloom and find out about it. If you want an in-person event, something that'll make you feel really, really good and make you leave here feeling like you have the new stuff to do the new thing, you got to check it out. Just check it out. We did it virtually, had to, on April 18th, and we still want to get together. We are human beings, and we need to touch each other and hug and be together and connected. This is what makes us tick. And as much as we're trying to do everything as best we can, the way we're doing it right now, still and all, let's look toward the future so that we can get together and not have it be, wearing masks and doing all that socially distancing. I'm hoping that this is, I'm just hoping, I'm very hopeful, and I'm going to leave it there. So one of my subject today is I want to talk. Oh, and by the way, Friday is Q&A. So please, if you have a question, send it to support@savingdinner.com, and question for Leanne on Friday is in the subject line, and then I'll get to it. We didn't have a whole lot last time, which is weird. We usually have tons. So I think it's because I keep forgetting to tell you about it. How do you like that? So I was thinking about this whole thing, and I was talking to a friend, or, had somebody a friend of mine who was telling me how miserable she was. And I was thinking about all this whole idea of misery. And as much as I love this friend, she's also extraordinarily unreliable. And, and of course I'm keeping this all anonymous. And I was thinking about what are all the things what is it that makes people miserable, and what is misery anyway? And I looked it up, and it's interesting. The state of being wretchedly unhappy and uncomfortable. That's number one definition. But get number two, pitiably small or inadequate. Wow. Pitiably small and inadequate. And I think misery also makes you pitiably small and inadequate. It holds you in its grip. Misery is something that, it makes you wretchedly unhappy and uncomfortable. But I think misery is also a choice. And the connection between misery and being unreliable is really intense. And I read a quote, James Clear, who's one of my favorite authors. Atomic Habits is the book he wrote. And I read a quote from him, and it was really talking about if you want to live a miserable life, then continue to be unreliable. And I thought about that for a minute, and wow, this woman who, I started connecting all the dots. Unreliability, being unreliable to yourself and to others is basically the recipe for being miserable. And so I thought about that, and I went through and I made 10 things. I made a list of 10 things that can change you from being unreliable to being reliable. Because honestly, at the end of the day, being able to rely on yourself, having self-reliance, is a very positive trait. And also having others being able to rely on you and say, yeah, you can count on Leanne. She always fills in the blank. She always does this. You want to hear that kind of thing said about you, right? And that could be something that's said in your eulogy. That could be part of your legacy. Being reliable. Being reliable. So how do we be reliable? Well, we talked earlier this week, do you remember that? About having our yes be yes and our no be no, and being able to say no. Well, that's part of being reliable, is managing those commitments. That's why it's so important to be really strong with your yeses and really strong with your no's. Because if you're ambiguous, or if you push it off, or if you're constantly saying yes and then later on saying, well, I didn't really mean that, because you don't like the confrontation, you're branding yourself as being unreliable. And that's not a reputation that you want. So that's number one, is manage your commitments. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Number two is be honest about this. Now I'm thinking about this in light of going into the sprint, which is interesting because we have 7 days, which I'm going to bring that in there too. We have 7 days, but if you're going to do it, let's do it all the way, as best you can, really, and with a big bunch of grace. I know that sounds all kind of conflicting, but considering that not everybody is going to be able to have broccoli sprouts on this whole thing, which is part of the sprint, just let it go because this is the way it is. We can't do broccoli sprouts. I'm out of broccoli seeds. Can't do the sprouts. I'm sad, but I will have broccoli sprouts for the next one. All right? Big deal. So be honest. Hold yourself to an account. Hold yourself to an account, and then have somebody else hold you to it. This is why I always recommend getting a body clutter buddy. Get somebody who will hold you to an account. The statistics are ridiculous. If you have somebody holding you to an account, and you have somebody that you come to and you confess your chocolate sins, like I do with Marla, or somebody that you say, hey, this is really hard for me, I'm really struggling with this, it's going to make it that much better for you. And your reliability for yourself and your commitments is going to go up. So get that person in place that helps you to be honest about all of this. Number 3 is this shows that you value your values when you follow through. You value your values. It's no good to be putting your values on fire. Then what are your values worth? If you can't follow through and do what you say you're going to do, then what is your word worth? This is why there's that chipping away at your integrity. It's really important to be reliable. So be reliable on these things. Be reliable. Value your values. Number 4, have a start date and have an end date. If it's a project or something that you're going to do, or a sprint, there is a start date and an end date. It's 7 days. And when I say go all in for 7 days, go all in for 7 days to see what you're made out of. Not only is it going to make you feel better because you're going to follow through on this whole thing, but it's going to give you a whole lot of great intel about yourself, how your body works, how good it feels to feel this way, and what it is that you need to do to dial things in so you can always feel like this. The world's not always a sprint. We don't always eat flawlessly, do we? We don't always eat perfectly or whatever. But we can turn up the dial and start to do things excellently excellently just means that you're holding yourself to a higher account. It doesn't mean perfect, because perfect isn't on this side of creation. It's not. That's for later. That's when we, get to see God. Right now we don't. We're living in this very flawed world. But living excellently, that's what we're all about. And number 5 is my favorite. Number 5 is my favorite. Give it all you've got. Have you done that? Do you remember having a baby and your doctor's just telling you to push as hard as you can? I remember that because they were threatening me with a cesarean with my daughter. And I pushed as hard as I can. I pushed so hard I broke all the blood vessels in my eyes, and I had blood vessels broken on my face. That's how hard I pushed. And she surely came flying out, let me tell you. But you have to give it all you've got. If you want something badly enough, you give it all you've got. You make it your best effort. And sometimes you don't get exactly what you want at the end of that. You may not get the results, but I'm telling you, and I say this all the time, the journey's so worth it, because this is where you get to learn about yourself. This is where you get to see the heart and soul of who you really are. And that's the part that I love, because it's never, ever, ever do I ever regret giving it my all, ever. I look at some things in my rearview mirror and think, I did that half-ass. And half-ass never equates into giving it your all. And that is really important. Giving it your all means that you're all in, that you are reliable, that you can be counted on, both for yourself and for all of those around you. And number 6 is respect your time. When you're reliable, you show up on time. When you're reliable, people can count on you to show up on time. This is saying that you respect their time. This is saying that you respect others. Isn't that the truth? I remember one time, and I've shared this story with you, but it's a good one. I showed up one time at a doctor's office and they said to me, "You didn't have an appointment. Your appointment was last week at this time. And as a matter of fact, you owe us $50 for missing that appointment." And I was shocked. I thought, what is this? How did this happen? And fortunately, I had my calendar with me because I am that old-fashioned enough that I really like to write into my calendars. And I had it with me and I showed them, and it didn't matter because their time is precious. And I paid the $50 and it was my mistake. It happens. But what if we did that with ourselves? Every time we didn't show up, every time we were late, that we penalized ourselves and had to pay something or had to whatever, eat a little crow, apologize profusely. The point is, your time is precious and so is the time of others. When you show up on time, you are respecting other people and you're respecting yourself. And you're getting out of the unreliability. Number 7, when you're reliable, people view you as such. They view you with a different lens. They see you. If you're reliable, that means you keep your commitments. If you're reliable, that means you're responsible. If you're reliable, that means your integrity is important, that your promises are important, and that you keep them. Being unreliable means that your whole character is unraveling. That's how important reliability is. So think about it this way and start remembering that your reliability is everything, because it's telling you foundationally who you are. Number 8, I'm going to mention this again because I think it's so important. Late is unreliable. Being late is unreliable. You should always count on leaving just a little bit early. If you always show up late, it's not too late to change that. Leave 5 minutes early. Get your stuff ready to go. Keep your bag packed. Have things ready and on time. It's that simple. I hate being late to this show, but sometimes I can't get on in time. I've got hiccups and what have you. So I have things all laid out so I'm ready to go. And then I'll run down and go get water. And I like to hit it right at 1 o'clock if it will work. But being on time is important to me. But that it doesn't mean that you don't forget on occasion or you have something go wrong. But set yourself up for success and be on time. That means that you respect other people and their time. Number 9 is recognize the circumstances of what's going on that's maybe will make you unreliable, and then fix it. You know, have you been in that place? You can fix things. You can fix broken things. You don't have to let circumstances dictate your behavior. Even if the bus is always late, or you have a child that's always late, or whatever, you can look at it and have that degree of strategy and figuring out, like, how is this always working? Why is this working like this? And then just fix that part of it. It doesn't have to dictate your circumstances. You don't have to be a victim anymore to unreliability. And number 10 is my favorite. Show up. Like, show up, show up, show up. I've found in all these years of counseling people with nutrition, and counseling people and coaching people with their weight loss and what have you, the people who show up are the people who do the work. And the people who do the work are the people who get the results. They're reliable. Every single day, I know I'm going to see them in my sprint group. Every single day, I know I'm going to see them post something, or I'm going to see something. There is evidence that tells me that they're showing up, they're getting results. You can't just go all invisible and poof and just, stand back. Being reliable is showing up and coming to the party, and bringing a bottle of wine and an appetizer and a housewarming gift and a bouquet of flowers or whatever. That's reliability. And reliability is everything, because reliability also fuels your confidence. It also makes your integrity shine, and it makes you motivated to keep going in that direction and keep doing more. And isn't that what we want? We're here for a limited time, for whatever purpose, but we're here because God put us here by some miracle. Because, a great quote that I read was that the evidence for your existence is incredible, because you're more likely to not exist than you are to exist. It took that one moment in time where you were conceived, and that you didn't get eaten by a bear, or that all of your relatives all the way through, think about your line of ancestry, and here you are, and we look at the big picture and grasp the meaning of the fact that you're here and not somebody else. And because you're here, you need to show up. You need to be reliable. You need to show up, and you need to find your mission. You need to find your purpose, and you need to be searching for it. Because you're not here just to occupy space and to breathe in air and to eat and to go to sleep and to work. There's way more than that. And you have the obligation and the reliability, I would hope, to search after that. Because I'm telling you, life will never be the same, and you will show up for everything that you're involved in. Absolutely, enthusiastically embracing the opportunity. Look for the evidence. I'm telling you, God has dropped it right here into your life. You just haven't seen it yet. Open your eyes. I promise you that your purpose is right there in front of you. Start looking for the evidence. And when you're reliable, you will start to see it. That's what I've got for you today, my lovelies. That's it. It is Soulful Saturday. Now go out and be soulful today. Enjoy this gorgeous, glorious day. And I will tell you what, I will see you at 4 p.m. here downstairs in the kitchen, and I will be spatchcocking a chicken. It's going to get gruesome. I'm going to do it. Take that puppy down, that chicken. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. Share this video if you found it helpful. I really appreciate you all. Love you. And don't forget, ships free is your code if you put Proactive Probiotic in your cart. Get your supplements while you can. The core 4 are there, ladies. And don't forget, we also have the body clutter tea. So get your cart all Hooked up, free shipping, ships free, goes in the promo window. Peace out. Hey Mo, I see you. Love you. Good to see everyone. Take care. Bye.